Hey everyone, this is Yusuf from Crafting Clouds, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking about using work orders with QuickBooks. And we're going to be using a platform called Method CRM. If you haven't heard about it already, I've been doing a bunch of videos on Method CRM. And I basically want to show basically how you can streamline your work order process with your QuickBooks by using this platform. So let's begin. So right now, as you can see, I'm on a fake estimate. And on this estimate, I have two items, one called bathroom renovation, another one called roofing install. So let's use the example of me using a general contracting company. And general contractors usually do use work orders for their business as they send their crew to go out onto sites to do the particular job that's been assigned to them. So we're on our estimate. Let's assume that we send this estimate over to the client and the client gets back to us and says, yes, I approve this estimate. You'll notice there's no amount here. You just ignore this. This is because I'm using a test account, so we can just ignore it. And let's just assume they accept it. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to click create work order. Now, there's many ways that they could have accepted this estimate, just as a caveat. They could have went into something called the customer portal. And what happens is we send out an email from Method. In that email, it gives them a link where they basically click the link and it takes them directly into a portal for them to view the estimate and accept the estimate within Method. Upon accepting that estimate, it will then go ahead and create the work order for you. So that's basically just a little bit more context in terms of automation and streamlining your business so that you don't have to manually go in and create the work order yourself. So now we're on the work order, and you'll notice right away it took the very first line item that we found on the work order and put that in the job name. Okay, so this is the out of the box work order that Method gives you. I wanted to basically tell you that for the first half of this video, we're going to be going over the out of the box, but then I'm also going to show you how you can customize it to do even more. And I'm going to use an example that I've done in the past, just to kind of paint the picture of the power of customization and Method and what you can do with work orders. So this is the work order. As you can see, there's the, excuse me, contact information, job site information, the customer name, and the status of the work order with instructions. It says created from estimate number. It would have put an estimate number here if we wanted, but because again, this is a test account, it's not putting anything. And then below you'll see the line items carry forward. Okay. And then right here, it shows a conflict message. So it shows a conflict with another work order. And it's saying that during this time, we cannot actually schedule this work order out given the start time because it sees that there's another work order in its place that's assigned to myself. So the system's smart enough to know, hey, there's a conflict, please change the time. Now, a great thing with this as well is we can actually go into something called our work orders calendar. So if we go to the calendar here, all right, and you go in, we can have a variety of views. So right now it's defaulting to the day view, but we can change it to the week view, the month view, okay? And you'll see those two work orders already here within that date that we saw in the work order, okay? So if you're the dispatcher for your company and you're handling scheduling for your field service crew, you're going to be spending a lot of time in this view, kind of, scheduling out your work orders. But you can change it to a different view of your liking. A lot of people, they actually like the week horizontal view. The reason why is because it gives you your field crew team on the left, and as well as, and here I'm just using, out of the box. This is just test information, but you would have your field crew members on the left here. The days of the week, as you can see, I'm going on December 29th, Sunday, to the 30th, Monday, Tuesday, so on and so forth. We can do week vertical. So if you want to see it in a different view, you can do it like this. And then you have, list week. So if you want in a list format or list month, you can do that as well. Okay. And you'll see the work orders here. Now I can go ahead and I can access the work orders from here as well. Okay. I can create an invoice for the work order from the calendar view or change the status. Right now, before we move on to the screen, I want to mention also another thing is this right panel here of the calendar view. So you will have to set this up one time and one time only per user that's viewing this view. And what it's going to do is it's going to show you a view of all the users in the account. And from here, you're basically going to choose out all the field crew techs that are going to be assigned work orders. You're going to put them in this view. Now, I don't have any more users or resources in here because these are the only 2 users in my test account, and they're already added here. But this is where you go ahead and you just add the pertaining field crew technicians into this list here. That's it. You do it once and you never have to do it again. You also have settings here, so you can also manage the days of the week that you're going to be scheduling out your jobs. Let's assume that they don't work weekends, so we're going to move the Saturday Sunday options. Let's also assume that the start time and end time, we're not working 24/7, right? We're going to work regular business hours. So let's say that they would be dispatched as early as 8 a.m. and the latest job for the day would be, let's say they end at 5, okay? Now, you could also show inactive resources. I don't see the reason for this unless you have high attrition in your company and you have field crew members that come and go and you just want to see a history of what's been scheduled in the past. Then sure, you can check this off. I'm going to leave this unchecked. And then you also have a colored event background. So what this is going to do is it's going to take in the color palette that you set for your work orders. And this is largely tied, I believe, to whoever's assigned to the work order. So you can check that off as well. And then you have this collapse section if you want to collapse this little panel on the right. And then finally the wait list. So this is kind of a neat portion of the scheduling option, where basically if you have work orders in a waitlist status type, which is basically a group of statuses that you define that you want to have in this waitlist status type, and you want them to show up on this waitlist so that you can go in instead of them automatically being scheduled for a particular time. You as the dispatcher have more control over, I want to take and schedule these work orders myself, and I want to take them off the waitlist and drag and drop them onto this calendar view, as you can see here. And I'm going to show you an example of this later on in the video with my customized work order solution. But for right now, let's go back into, I'm going to go into the list right here, okay? And let's go back and let's open up one of these work orders, okay? And let's continue along, okay? So as you can see, you can schedule this out. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to change this date to the 12th. And as you can see, the conflict no longer stands. It does default to 1 hour. You can go ahead and change these times as you want, as you see fit. Now, an important piece with the start date and end dates, particularly the times, is the hour difference also defines the size of your event tile or your work order tile on the calendar. So if you are scheduling the job for, let's say, 3 or 4 hours, that job that's being scheduled on the calendar, that event tile, will be much larger than, let's say, a job that was only scheduled out for 1 hour. So it does reflect the size of the event tile, which is kind of neat. Now, from here, you can hit save. Another piece I want to bring up is the reminders. Now, you'll see here out of the box, it does not allow you to enable reminders 1 day prior. I think we have it to 1 day, or no, 2 days prior. So you'll see it says reminder cannot be enabled after the 10th, which is 2 days prior to the work order start date. This is just a rule that they've put inside the system so that you're not sending reminders, I guess, too close to the start date. The assumption is that reminders would be sent out further before, but you can change this. This is something that can be customized. If you want your reminders to go all the way to the day of, you can do that with some customization. For right now, does not allow me to enable reminders, but this is a neat, that's funny. A neat out of the box functionality that Method offers where it automatically sends reminders to the customer, just informing them, hey, our field crew techs are going to be coming to your job site. And these reminders can either be sent through text, so SMS, or email, or both. So that's a really cool feature about this. So now continuing along, now this is where kind of the streamlining happens between QuickBooks and also and your work order solution and what you use. So what you would do from here is that once the work order has been completed, right? So right now you'll see it's in to be invoice status, um, you'll go ahead and you'll create an invoice for this work order. Now this invoice is going to sync over to QuickBooks. So this is kind of neat because now you're able to streamline more your work order process. Maybe you're doing your work orders in a separate system, or you're doing it on a spreadsheet, or you're doing it more manual. This is all going to be contained with all of your other accounting inside of Method CRM, and as well as it's going to sync directly with your QuickBooks once you create that invoice and once that job has been completed. Um, Now, another important piece that I missed is the Field Crew app that is also bundled with this Work Orders app. Now, this is meant for your field crew technicians. So, as you can see, it's assigned to myself, me being the field crew technician. I won't have access to this Work Orders app, but I would have access to the Field Crew app. So, you can see here in the Field Crew app, I would go in and this is the view that I would see as the field crew technician. Now, what this allows me to do is I can be on my iPad on site or on my phone, and I can show you the phone view here as well. And I'm just going to refresh the page so I can show you the mobile view. So this is how I would see it on my phone, right? But then I can also look at it on an iPad, and this is how it would look like on an iPad. So think about it as I'm on the job site, I show up there, and I want to go ahead and I want to start the timer for this job. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to get out of this view just because this view is a little bit small. Let me see if I can actually just maximize. Yeah, that's better. Okay. So imagine I'm on my iPad, I'm on site, and I start my timer. Okay. There we go. Simple click of a button. What's happening is it's logging my start time in the background, and I'm going to go and continue my job. You'll see the items that I have assigned to me are here. Now, I do notice that they do provide the amounts here. I do hear a lot of feedback that, in fact, the field crew do not need to see the amount. This is a very light adjustment that you can make, or you can have someone like myself customize for you. It takes 1 minute to adjust, where you simply just remove this. You can have other information show up here if you want instead. But yeah, that's just a little piece of feedback that I've been hearing often. And then you'll also see a field crew memo. So this is where I can go ahead and I can type a note for the dispatcher. This automatically gets sent over to the dispatcher to let them know, hey, we've completed this job, or I am locked out. So I could say I am locked out of the site. It seems like the access code given is not working. Okay. Now, automatically this is saved. Okay. And it's gonna shoot off an email to the dispatcher so they're instantaneously informed that they're locked out of the site and they can't complete their work. Okay. You'll see here we also have a location where it automatically loads the location in Google Maps, so you can see exactly in a map view where the job site is, which is very helpful. And you also have the SMS option, right? So you can notify easily that you're on the way. Okay. Now this is not working just because I'm missing some settings. But essentially with some slight setting adjustments that we would have to do, you can automatically get the SMS sent. So you can ignore that. But essentially it goes, that's kind of the functionality. You also have the phone number that you can click and it'll automatically launch. If you're on your phone, it'll automatically dial out to the contact at the site. And then once I stop my timer right there, okay, I can start and stop my timer as I see fit. I can keep going. It's logging time entries now towards this job, okay? So right away, what's happening here is I can go ahead and let me actually exit this view because I don't see it here. But let me go back. Exit this, okay? And I'm going to go back to the desktop view because I want to see if it shows up another way. Yeah, there you go. So I think, yeah, so right here, this is our app ribbon. So right here, it's logging the time entries that have been made. So you'll notice here right away, it shows exactly my employee record. So this, again, ignore this is just test data. The billable status, as well as the duration. So, we only had the timer on for 2 minutes. So we can either restart the timer for this, or we can do a manual entry as well. So if you wanted to be able to override this, let's say there was a mistake made with the particular time entry, you can override this. Or if you prefer just manually entering in your start time and end times, this caters to both. Okay, and then you can add notes from the job. So you can say was on site but had to turn around because the access code given was not correct. Okay. And this is just something that you can add as the field crew tech as well when you're in this screen. And then another cool thing is you also have notes. So this is a functionality out of the box where you can add a note to the dispatcher and it automatically gets sent out via SMS to the dispatcher. Okay. So right away you can say, I am locked out, please help. Okay, you can add images, so in this example I can show an image of the lockbox with the exact access code that I've specified and me trying to open it, and just click add note here. Again, this is something that needs to be set up in settings similar to the SMS functionality here, so ignore this. But essentially what this would do is this would add a note for you and send off as an SMS to the dispatcher. Okay. Um, Now going back, all right. So this is the field crew app. You can go ahead as a field crew technician. If there's something that you've discovered on site that also needs to be done, you have the liberty to add this item yourself as well, saving the dispatcher some time. Here's the attachment, so you can go ahead and add any images of what you've been working on site, and that's it. Now these time entries will sync over to your QuickBooks as well. But the only way they sync over to your QuickBooks is if you're using QuickBooks Payroll. So, for those of you who are unfamiliar with QuickBooks Payroll, that's a separate subscription that you need to pay for both QuickBooks Online and QuickBooks Desktop users. So, if you do not want to pay or take on that extra cost of using QuickBooks Payroll and you don't care about having your time tracking go over to QuickBooks, then you can just simply track your time tracking in Method. That's also a solution that I see happen with a lot of business owners is they want to save on cost and they just want to do their time tracking, all within Method. And they can do their commission and their job costing reporting all within Method because the time tracking is still in Method, but they just don't have it in QuickBooks. So it's really to your discretion on what you want to do there. Okay. So that's essentially the out of the box work orders solution. Okay. And then finally, you can mark this as completed. All right. And you can capture a signature if you need a signature to be captured by the person on site. I'll go ahead and this is something that you can just simply put in here. I'll put my own signature here just for sake of displaying and hit accept. And automatically it goes ahead and it accepts it accepts the work order. It says the work order has been completed. So that is the out of the box. Now, I want to show you an example of what I've customized in the past with work orders and how far you can go with work orders and how you can adjust it to fit your business needs. So let's go back again and let's create another estimate. And after I create the other estimate, I'm just going to pause the video here and I am going to just go back to some customized screens that I had. As you know, with customization and Method, if you're familiar with it, you do have to use a customized screen. You're not customizing an existing screen, you're making a copy of it. So I just need to go back to those particular screens. So give me a moment while I do that. All right, so we're back, and in this part, we're going to just quickly go over a customized version of the work order solution just to paint the picture of how far you can go with Method and how flexible the platform really is. So in here, you'll notice I'm on a new estimate, same items as before. The only difference is over here, there is an accept and create work order button. So this is something that I merged where we want to be able to both accept the estimate as the sales rep on the customer's behalf, as well as create a work order. So we're going to go ahead and create this. So we're going to go ahead and click that. It says, are you sure you want to accept? Click OK. Now it goes ahead and it accepts the estimate, as well as it goes ahead and it creates the work order. Now, when we go to the work order, all right, this is the work order that's created, and we're going to open this up. You'll notice some differences. First thing that you'll see, which wasn't there before, is this field crew details section. So the reason why we built this is because in the out of the box way that Method does their work orders, it only allows for one field service technician per work order to work on the job. Now, in reality, there could be multiple field crew techs on site working on a single job. For example, if you're a GC company or general contractor, and let's say, for example, you're building a house, you can have an electrician, you can have a plumber, you can have a drywaller, so on and so forth. All of these are field crew techs that are going to be on the job site at the same time building this house. So we need to be able to provide a way to assign these multiple field crew technicians to the work order, to the same work order. So what I've done is I've customized an ability to do that. So now you'll see multiple, this is the list of field crew techs assigned to this work order. All right, this is the dispatcher's view of the work order. It's defaulted to waiting list. Okay, this is the items. And then from here, what I want to show you is you'll notice it automatically assigned two different field crew technicians, both assigned to a particular service. But how did it know to do that? Well, what I did is if you go into the field crew app, okay, this is where your field crew techs are going to be, and you go into the preferences section, okay, you'll notice there's this new section here. If you're already familiar with field crew app, maybe you're not, but this is something that's completely customized, where I went ahead and set up a way for you to go ahead and assign which field crew technician is responsible for which type of service. So in here, I am myself, Yusuf. I'm a field crew tech here, and I've been assigned to the bathroom renovation service because that's what I specialize in. Now, Method Support being the other field crew tech, they're roofers. So they've been assigned to the roofing install service. So as you can see, you can go ahead and you can assign, and set up the mapping between what services you offer and who are the responsible field crew technicians. That way Method knows, and Method is smart enough to know that when you go ahead and you approve an estimate that has those services listed on there, it's going to know exactly which field crew techs to assign to that work order upon generating that work order. So that's something that really saves a lot of time for the dispatcher, instead of the dispatcher having to go in and manually add in the field crew techs themselves. Now, going back to the work order, okay, in here, what happens is now, not only does it assign the field crew to the dispatcher's work order, but in order for this to work, it creates, it splits out these items, right? And it creates a work order, a sub work order, for lack of a better word, that is assigned to each field crew tech. So myself, Yusuf, will be assigned one work order that is dispatched to me, where it has the bathroom renovation service line item on it. And as you can see, it shows work order generated with a checkbox, right? Status of it's not started. And these are notes that would come in automatically. If I click the sync notes button, it would be brought in automatically to the dispatcher's view, so they can see a summary of all the notes for all of their field crew techs on that particular job. And then to continue, Method Support, they're the other field crew tech. They have their own work order that's been assigned to them with that roofing install service assigned to it. So just to show you further, we can go over to the field crew app now. Okay. And in the field crew app, all right, you'll see now both of these work orders assigned here. Okay. So you'll see Method Support has been assigned with the roofing install. You'll also notice some differences. So you'll notice there's also this delete work order is something that I put in just for my own testing. They should not have access to delete it, but because I'm an admin in the account, I see this button. So if I needed to, recreate the work order, I can. It gives me that flexibility, but this should not be here for the field crew tech. Um, but then you'll notice there's also this complete, not complete functionality. So let's say that, method support is assigned more than one line item on the work order. Well, they should be able to track time against that line item, but then also be able to choose, which line item they completed for the day, because they might not be done in one day. It might take multiple days. So they would go ahead and they would either complete, and right here, there's validation to say, oh, you can't complete this because there's no time tracking found against it. So that means I would have to clock in, make sure I clock out. And this is good to have just to ensure that your field crew are also entering in their time correctly and using this app the way it was intended. So proper safeguards are in place to make sure that this is being adopted correctly by your field crew techs. Okay. So now if I clock out, right away it says, okay, you want to clock out, but you still haven't entered notes. Please go to the notes section on the right to enter notes. So this is really cool because now this enforces that I have to go in, and even though I want to clock out for the day, let's say, or against a particular item, I have to basically report what I've done, right? I shouldn't be able to log time against something where we're not able to see, well, what was done in that time, right? So I can go ahead and add in my notes here, click add note. It'll go ahead and it'll allow me to continue to clock out and continue on with my day and complete this item. All right. So the reason why I'm not doing it here is because, as you know, it's not set up, and this is a test account. But in your account, this would work seamlessly. But if I try this is a test, it's not going to let me, as you know, because it's going to show this settings issue that is occurring in my test account. But just to continue along, before they even access the screen, right? Because this is still something that hasn't been dispatched or hasn't been assigned properly. So if I go now, you'll notice there's one that's in waiting list and one that's in progress. The reason why this was in progress is because I automatically started the time for it. So automatically changed the status from waiting list to in progress. But as the dispatcher, when I go into the dispatcher's app to go ahead and schedule things out, you'll notice there's a calendar here, okay? And this is the waiting list functionality that I was telling you about that is really, really cool. So in here, I can go ahead and I can drag and drop this work order for my field crew tech and plug it into the right part of the calendar to schedule Yusuf out, right? So I can go ahead and I can put, okay, I want to schedule Yusuf out for 1:30 on Friday, January the 3rd. As you can see, it defaults to just a half an hour duration. That was done intentionally, just in case if you want to, maximize your screen real estate for scheduling. But you can go ahead and you can expand this to what you see fit. Now I'm scheduled out from 1:30 to 4, and I can go ahead and I can actually copy this, and I can schedule this out for another field crew tech if I want. Now this is something that wasn't available out of the box. This is something I customized in as a neat feature to just kind of, make the scheduling experience a lot easier for the dispatcher to go ahead and schedule out, for the day. So also another thing is that you can go ahead, you'll see this calendar's on the work order list, but maybe you want to see the calendar as well within the work order itself, okay? So you'll see here, there's also the calendar view in the work order itself. This is also not available out of the box. This is something that needs to be customized. The reason why I'm explaining these differences is just to show you, the power of Method and how much you can customize it to fit your needs. But yeah, that's essentially it. That is the work order solution in a nutshell for users that are in QuickBooks but also need a work order solution. Method CRM is a great option. If you want to chat more about this, feel free to reach out to me at yusuf@craftingclouds.com, or you can go to my website at www.craftingclouds.com and schedule a free call. We can talk for as long as you need to answer any questions that you might have around figuring out if this work order solution is the right fit for you and your business. Other than that, it was my pleasure to show this to you today. I hope it gave you value, and I'll see you on the next video.